Hello, we are live for day 5 of the Millionaire Marketing Makeover. I'm Izzy Nally. I'll be your host. And as we get started today, some of you all have asked, did we skip a day? Where are we at within the Millionaire Marketing Makeover for those who are catching it live? And this is really important for you to listen to. Yesterday and the day before, I was having problems getting locked out of Facebook. Facebook invited me to upgrade into a professional profile, and then suddenly it needed me to authenticate myself multiple times, and I kept getting locked out. It was extremely frustrating. And the reason why this is so important for you to know is that you cannot rely on one platform and one platform alone for your business to be a success and for your business to function. If you rely solely on Facebook for your business to function, and you've put in all this time and effort and it's really functioning off of one platform, then you're setting yourself up for a disaster, or at least for a lot of stress, right? So for me, I'm in the middle of a launch and I cannot message people. I cannot like people's posts and comment on their posts. I couldn't go live. So that created a problem. And I've talked about this before with people. Like, so if I had had the following also on Instagram, I could have gone live and pushed everyone from there. Or I could have emailed out and gone live on YouTube. Now, for this circumstance, it wasn't necessary for me to do that because I was determined I was just going to fix the problem. But we've had this happen in the past where Facebook went down, or what if Facebook got hacked and it went down, or what if suddenly Facebook changes up all of its algorithms, which it's in the process of changing them up again. So always set yourself up to be collecting emails so that you can email people information. Be setting yourself up as a backup on a platform and allow yourself to have that set up. Now, early on, when you are launching your business, this may not be practical to set yourself up on multiple platforms. It may not be time efficient. But once you get your business set up to a certain level and you have people working with you and assisting you, then you do want to put the effort to make that happen. Okay, that's our side note. That's our starting note. Let's start with saying hi. Let's see who all is here. So say hi if you are super curious about what these requirements of a successful business are. So I'm going to give you the 10 key things that you really need to focus on. And some of these, of course, they're going to stack on each other. These are super important because these are also what makes up your Million Maker Business Blueprint. So I'm going to be giving you away some secrets to you today. And on day 7, we're going to be really going over and diving deep into what is really included in that Million Maker Business Blueprint. Because again, my mission is to give you the knowledge to empower you to be able to leave your 9 to 5 and start your business. Not only start your business, but thrive in your business and scale your business to that $1,000,000 status. Okay, that is my mission to you. And I'm here to help you and assist you, but you can also do it yourself. It just might take a little bit longer or a lot longer, but that's okay. I'm still here. I'm still here to help you and support you. So, starting off with our requirements of a successful business, and again, I'm going to give you 10 items. But let's look at this in central themes. So we have 3 central themes that will scale your business, that will make you a successful business. And the first one is you. The first one is you. You are the leader, you are the CEO, you are the visionary, but you're also the one who keeps the business moving consistent, even if you have processes in place. You still need to maintain your motivation. Okay. Maintain your motivation. I call this energetic hygiene, which I can go into in another talk. I go into deeply within my Awakening Abundance course. So we need to make sure that we are not riding this roller coaster that we want to stay at our A game. And this is where you have to participate like an athlete in your business and keep your energy up. So this means that we factor in to our timeline, our game plan, our ability to prevent burnout. Our second main central theme item of 3, the second one, is your product and your methodology, especially for us coaches. And you're like, oh, that sounds scary. Now, who is this? This is really a struggle. Your product and your methodology. So we talked about in a previous video how we need to have 3 tiers, at least 2, but we don't want to have just one solo product. We have our core product, and then we have a higher version and a lower version, or our core product might be our high version, and then we have 2 tiers below. And that's one of the things that we're going to talk about today in the requirements of a successful business. So that's your product. The methodology is what is interwoven into all of your products. And I'm going to give you a really easy way to think about this. If someone invited you to give a TED Talk and you got to speak for 20 minutes or so, and you could tell the world something, you could share with them this burning belief that you really, really, truly, deeply believe in, what would you share with them? That most likely has a strong sense of what your methodology is going to be like. So within the Waking Abundance, we came up with the WRAP method. Now you can play with it and find an acronym. It's a beautiful thing when you do, but it was RHAP. So we would reset. Let's see, we had H. So I haven't taught the Awakening Abundance. So we had to come up with this acronym: healing, attracting, and then prosper. That's what it was. And so I shifted the words around of what I was doing, what I was leading people through to fit into an acronym so that it could be easy to remember. So the acronym was WRAP. And generally our methodology will come down to anywhere from 4 to 7 steps of how you're going to get there. It depends on how you want to chunk them. So your methodology could be, for me, it's always like releasing, resetting. And then we're moving into the healing. And then we're moving into, our thriving state. And then we can break those down however we want. But that's what I find true for me when I'm working with clients. So that is part of my methodology. So I talk a lot about, which I'm sure you've heard, getting out of scarcity mindset and getting into abundant mindset. That's why when I work with my clients, I really want to get you that hypnotherapy money session early on so that we can make sure that we have a clear, and I use the analogy of a garden a lot. We want to clear it all out. Then we want to plant our seeds. Then we want to maintain it. And then we want to help just keep it going. That's the maintenance phase. I might have to pluck a little bit here and there. So today we are talking about today is day 5, the 10 requirements of a successful business. So I'm going to go over 10 things. First, what we're talking about is the 3 central themes. So the first one is you and maintaining your motivation, not riding that roller coaster. Number 2 is your product and your methodology. Number 3 is your business. And you're like, how are those different? It is much different to have a product and a methodology and then to also have a business. You can be a contractor, you can be just a service provider and not necessarily have a business. And that's what we're going to talk about more tomorrow. So tomorrow, day 6, we're talking about how you go from hobby to being a business owner into being a CEO. And so with this part, with our central theme of 3, the third one, what we're really looking about is the operations. How do we have those repeatable processes? How do we generate leads? How do we get repeatable customers? How do we create marketing that works? Okay, so it's different, your product and your methodology, this creation, and then there's the business. And as we talked about yesterday, there's the feminine, and then this is the masculine. The masculine is more of those operations. And this is what a lot of people in the coaching industry are really struggling with, because most of us coaches are very nourishing. We're very in our feminine energy. And so that business component is where we're really lacking. And we feel like we're a business, but really we're lacking all of that masculine business energy. So that's what we're talking about today. All right, let's get started. The first thing we did on day one, that is your vision and mission. Your vision and mission statement, those are extremely important. That is item one. Item number two, I'm going to break these down into 3 different ones so that it fills out our 10. Consistent revenue. So not only do we need to be consistent in our business, okay, and thinking in our feminine nature, but our revenue needs to be consistent for our business. Otherwise, our business itself starts to take this roller coaster ride. So how we show up, if we are showing up consistently, we're more likely to make our revenue consistent as well. And this is why we need those repeatable processes, which is one of these items. The second one is repeatable, or the third one is repeatable processes. So within this section, repeatable processes. You're like, oh, routines, this sounds so boring. This sounds boring. Yes, compared to our feminine and our creativity, this can be considered boring. But that's why we want to establish the repeatable processes so that we don't have to keep thinking about them. We get them ironed out, we get them there, and then it's done. And we just repeat them. And it makes our lives easier, in fact. So yes, we do have to put that work in place in the beginning, but really we want it to happen organically. And it's this process of continuous improvement that get us into these repeatable processes. So it's not this, okay, I have to sit down and I have to get them perfect, exactly the way they're supposed to be, right? Like that energy just doesn't feel good. But instead we go, what does my customer need? What are the steps? When we look at lead generation, when we look at how they're coming into my business, how I'm nurturing them, how I'm supporting them, how I'm making them feel safe by giving them clear steps. Those are all part of your processes that you're put in place. So you can approach this from a beautiful space of energy. And you don't have to make your masculine energy this negative thing. Our masculine energy can also be this beautiful space as well. And so that might be just something that you personally need to heal. And if you haven't heard me say it, I'm going to say it again. Having your own business is an accelerated self-development process because it will quickly bring anything that you need to work on up to the surface. If you're being blocked in your business, there's something blocked in you. Again, those 3 key central themes: you, your product and methodology, and then your business, which is that third one is what we're really talking about today, is your business. So we had 1 is our vision and mission, 2, consistent revenue, 3, repeatable processes, and then 4, you've already heard me say it, your lead generation. And this is where people tend to think marketing. Oh, my marketing's not great enough. I need more marketing. I need to improve my marketing. I need more customers. But as you heard me say, this is item number 4. So we need to really check in with those upper items that I've mentioned first. Ask yourself before you get into lead generation, are you clear on your vision and mission? It was homework day number 1. I'm giving you this stuff away free. Why? Because I want this stuff done for you before we come work together. I at least want you to think about it and have a rough draft before we would even work together. Because I don't want you to spend your time working with me on these things that should already be done. Okay. These things this is going to make us move through the process and get you faster results. So 1, vision and mission. 2, thinking about consistency. What are you doing consistent that's going to help you have consistent revenue? 3, what are your repeatable processes? Are you doing anything repeatable? So these all fall into this consistency category. And then 4 is lead generation processes. 5, we're looking at how can we pivot? How can we be agile? How can we do that consistent improvement so that we can scale our business? This is pretty important for a requirement of a successful business, right? A successful business doesn't stay stagnant. It continues improving, just like I'm sure you do with yourself. You're always working on continuous improvement. It's a natural human tendency of ours to want to do that. And so as our business becomes its own entity, it also needs that consistent improvement and that ability to pivot so that we're not stuck, right? What are we going to do if Facebook goes down, right? These abilities to pivot, this ability to be resilient, this ability to bounce back. And that's also where it draws in a lot of this confidence in what we're doing and how we're going to keep growing, this empowerment of I can continue to grow, this concept of continuing to think bigger and not to get into a comfort zone. And then we're going to look at multiple revenue sources. Now, again, this is where I mentioned earlier on in our lectures how we want to have at least 3 tiers of one core product. 3 tiers of one core product. That makes it super easy on us. So I see a lot of people, there's one particular coach I can think of in mind, and she is putting out these new digital products all the time. Now she has a team that is helping her do that. And a lot of times we are comparing ourselves to those people that have been in it for a while, that have a team behind the scenes and make it look easy and make it look like they're doing it all, but they're not. They have a team that's helping them. And they've found a system of packaging up maybe the same content and rewording it different ways. It's like 100 ways to do something, and all it is a list and super bland. And she's just putting stuff together very, very quickly. But that's her specialty. That's what she's good at. And you don't have to have 100 different types of products. You don't have to. You can have one core product and you can just package it up into a high, medium, and low offer. Okay. And then we can make additional products, which I can help you with, that are just supportive within those 3 areas. We do need a core product. That's another item on our list. You have to have a core product. What is your core product for your core target audience? And then how does everything support that core product? And again, this is where I see a lot of people, they're trying to do too many things. I see someone who's, they're selling coffee or they're selling wine, and then they're selling travel services, and then they're selling some weight loss products, and then they're selling finance products. Like, I see people do this all the time, and I've done it too, where you are trying to sell all these different products, and then you're trying to talk about a different thing, and people are going, what am I supposed to buy? They start getting confused because most likely that person has not written out their vision and mission statement. They're not functioning as, here's me, here's my product and my methodology, and here's how my business runs and operates. Instead, they're like, I'm going to be like a virtual assistant helping 1 million people, and I just expect everyone to just buy whatever they can. That's scarcity. That's a lack of belief and trust in yourself that your core product is good enough and that you are good enough to create that core product. Keep it simple. I cannot stress that enough. Keep it simple. Simple is what keeps you calm. Simple is what makes you feel safe. Simple is what allows you to have a business that allows you to leave your 9 to 5 and have a beautiful life. And I mean that in the sense of we don't want to leave a 9 to 5 to just create our own 9 to 5. Who wants to leave 40 hours a week and go work 80? Who wants to leave working 40 hours a week to work 80? Now, I'm not going to lie, when you're in transition, it might feel like you're working 80. And then hopefully we go from 40 to 20 hours. Right? I think Jenny said she wanted to work 24. I'd be fine with 20 to 25 hours a week, right? Who wants to work 40 hours for 40 years? And sure, yes, you'd be doing what you love instead of doing it for someone else. And it may be that just early in the beginning, but that's not our goal. Our goal is not to leave 40 to go to 40 or to go to 80. Okay. So that's what we have to have. What I'm going to say next is we have to have our boundaries. Another item. We need to have a plan. And then our other item is quarterly planning. Okay, let's review what we've got so far. So we've got our vision and our mission, which is our clarity. And then within our consistency, we're looking at consistent revenue, repeatable processes, lead generation, our ability to pivot and scale, multiple revenue sources, which is those tiers, which also align back to a core product. And then we're looking at boundaries, a business blueprint or plan, and quarterly planning. Okay, so let's go over that last little bit. So boundaries. Boundaries are saying, again, when we come back to that core theme of ourself, core theme of us. Our business needs us. Now, hopefully we want to set our business up so it doesn't need us as much. But when we put boundaries in our business, it actually helps it do better. And this is something that I include and I've noticed working with these big corporations. When they get their boundaries in place, they tend to scale a lot easier. Their business gets a lot more, more income for one, but it gets a lot healthier. And as a therapist, of course, I've noticed that with people, but this is why I joke and I call myself a business therapist, because a business takes on its own, like it becomes its own entity. Your business is not you. Okay. You and yourself are not your business. And again, that's where we go from hobby to business to CEO. Okay. Which we're talking about tomorrow. But your business is not you. Okay. You are creating your business as if you were creating a child. Your child is not you, but you're going to imprint on it how you hope it to be. And you're going to shape it. Okay. Again, tomorrow's talk. I won't get on that soapbox today. We'll save it. All right. So with our boundaries, I noticed this. I had a mentor at one point, and I wanted to ask her all these questions, and I really just I was seeking these answers. And I was paying her for one service, and she had all these other services. She had all this other knowledge. And we were in a group setting. And so I'd ask her all these questions. And she's like, well, we will be learning about that next week. But if you'd like to, you can set up an appointment with me and then we can sit down and talk about that. And I would get so frustrated at first because my boundaries at the time were not very clear. And I was like, it would take you 5 minutes to just give me the answer. Why won't you just give me the answer? This was my inner dialogue. And as we worked further and further into the program that I was in, I began to realize the actual genius and that she had amazing boundaries. That she was saying, like, my knowledge is important. My knowledge is valuable. And for you to get the best results, it's going to take a lot more than just giving you a quick answer in 5 minutes. This is what she was saying through all of that. And it was quickly communicated by, I'd be happy to talk with you. Let's schedule an appointment. And it wasn't her being dismissive. It was having her boundaries, and it was also her honoring me. And by that continuing, I didn't go out anywhere else and seek someone else's answer. I wanted hers because I saw her as the expert. And so, again, that's an example of how these boundaries are important. It's important for a business to say, this is what I am providing, this is the expectation, and this is what I expect from you, and this is what you should expect from me. So, these healthy boundaries within the business and within ourselves too is extremely important for us to scale and grow, but it's also important for us to not burn out as well. Okay. We want to be seen as the expert. We want people jonesing for what we have. Okay. And then a business blueprint or plan. And this is where I love helping people because we are out there and we're searching for all this knowledge. We're searching for answers. We're searching for this secret recipe. And what we're doing is we're collecting all of these ingredients by collecting all these freebies and watching all these webinars. And then we get them all and we're like, I don't know if I have the recipe. Do I have the right recipe? And you try it this way and you're like, no, that didn't turn out right. And you try it this way and you're like, it didn't turn out right. I'm not getting the results I want. What am I doing wrong? And you start to feel like it's you. It's not you. It's that you're collecting ingredients and you're not collecting recipes. And that's because it takes time to get the recipe. I can give you a lot of knowledge, but it's not the same as us getting in the kitchen together and me explaining how these things work together and how, sometimes in these recipes, you need to mix the eggs and the milk together first before you combine them with the powder versus just dumping it all into one. So, putting all of these puzzle pieces together and making sure that you have all the puzzle pieces from the correct box is also really important. And that's where it's so important for you to have a mentor. That's one of the biggest problems I see on the internet in general, all this knowledge that is out there, and why our society has not severely elevated during this time is because we've let go of this mentor disciple relationship. And instead, we're trying to teach ourselves, which there's beauty in that, but it's not quite the same. And I understand there is a lot of people out there claiming to be experts. There's a lot of people out there that say they can help you. And that's where I urge you and I try to empower you. You don't have to choose me as your mentor. But I urge you, and I always did this in personal training and all of that, to check the credentials of who you're going to work with. If they don't have the degrees and the certifications and everything to go with it, at least make sure they have the testimonials. At least follow them and Google them and see what they're about. Make sure that they're being consistent. Make sure that they're still growing. Make sure that they're delivering. Okay. And then quarterly planning. So I have a lot of fun with quarterly planning. And I was just going over this in our last Tuesday meeting where it hit me. I was like, I kind of do this just because it's in my bank of tools, but I started writing it out where we as humans, from the Ayurveda perspective, have tendencies, and I've always broke it down to seasons. But then I was like, what does Ayurveda have to say about this? Because I think I infuse it anyways. So within the seasons, we are seasonal beings, right? And if you think of tribal times, we had to eat whatever was in season. And then in farming times, we had to move and place our energy in the right seasons. So let's think about spring. It's spring now. Most of us have this energy. We're like, yes, I'm going to take on the world. I'm going to break these old habits. I'm going to move forward. We've got a lot of energy in the spring. We're coming out of winter where we're more in this self-reflection and we're planning. And now we're in the action taking. And then what's going to happen is we're going to come into the summer where it starts to get hot and we need rest and we need to really get more into this devotional state. And then we'll move into the fall where we again have more energy. You think of we would have to go out and we would have to harvest. We'd be back at work again. And then we would come back into the winter where it would be more self-reflection, more planning. And when we think about this, we can start to be less hard on ourselves within our business because our business is going to move in this circle. And this is how the human nature does too. So you can see as we're coming around, we're hitting this same spot. But each time we're hitting it a little bit different and we're getting closer and closer to our inner pureness, or within our business, we're coming closer and closer into an aligned, beautiful business that feels really good. And so we're going to keep perfecting it. But we also need to recognize and not compare this spot to this spot and this spot to this spot. And we need to shift and we need to adjust. And we need to know that, like, hey, a lot of people are going on vacation in the summertime. How can I work with that? Hey, it's springtime. People are getting outside. They might not be sitting on their computer as much. How do I work with that? And so shifting and allowing ourselves to be working into the seasons, because ultimately we're selling to people. And if we're selling to people, we need to be thinking about those people, which is, again, was on our list of what's our core product and our target market. And I put those together because our core product needs to be in alignment with our target audience as well. And you can shift that, of course. Like, I can teach the same program and cater it to coaches, and I can cater it to yoga teachers, and I can cater it towards business coaches, but it's going to be slightly different. It's going to be slightly different, but the same methodology would be the same. I hope that makes sense. So let's take a little review for our day 5 bonus, which is the requirements of a successful business. And if you would like a copy of this in written form, in PDF form, I want you to make a little comment below, and I will get that to you because I'm going to make that up tomorrow and put all these in there for you. So our 3 key themes is ourself, maintaining our motivation, 2, our product and methodology, and 3 is our business, our revenue streams, the activities that we do, which is the focus of these 10 requirements for a successful business. We have our vision and mission statement, consistent revenue, repeatable processes, lead generation, our ability to pivot and scale, our multiple revenue sources, our core product and target audience, boundaries, our business blueprint, which we're going to talk about on day 7, and quarterly planning. Quarterly planning means you break your year up into 4 quarters and you plan according to those. So you start at a high level and you're like, okay, what's the season? What holidays are going on? Where am I at? What am I going to be doing? How am I feeling? And you plan accordingly. You should have at least 2 quarters planned out. If not all, I will tell you, it would save you a lot of time when you go ahead and you plan out your year. You're like, that sounds like a lot of work. I can show you how to make it easier. All right. I'm Izzy Nally, and thank you for joining me for day 5. You will see for day 5, there is a quiz. I'm going to post the homework portion of it as well, but mainly it's, where are you struggling? Where are you struggling in your business? And you might be like, all of it. Is it the putting the puzzle pieces together? Is it one of these core areas? Is it just balancing the masculine and feminine? Is it acquiring new customers? Is it making sense of it all? Is it you're trying to do it all yourself because you feel like you're not ready for a mentor? Think about that. Does that sound right? Generally, if you don't feel ready for a mentor, it's because you need a mentor. But there's also the saying that when the mentor is needed, the student will appear. The student will appear when a mentor is needed. If you've been asking for a sign to try to figure this out, if you've been praying for an answer, maybe now is time. And so I'm offering for you to join me in the Million Maker Business Blueprint. We have a lot of new additions being added into the program. And whenever you sign up, the course platform, the resources are always available to you. We have pocket coaching for on the day. We have weekly lessons. We have a mastermind group, which is so powerful. And then you even get a few sessions one-on-one with me. You can craft your high ticket offer. We'll craft your freebies. We'll craft your funnel. I'll show you how to make a webinar. I mean, just about every aspect of your business is in there. Just about every single aspect, how to scale your business, how to get yourself from out of your 9 to 5 to getting your first client to making enough to leave your 9 to 5, right? And then being able to scale to maybe your first goal. Maybe it's 500,000, maybe it's 1 million is your first goal, but we want to make it so that it feels achievable. And we want to make it feel simple. We want to make it feel good. I want this to be almost feel like a spiritual program for you, your own self-development as you're growing, as your business is growing, because you hold the container for your business. And I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we will be at 11 o'clock because I have a therapy client on Mondays. So we will be at 11 o'clock tomorrow on Monday, and I will set a reminder for that for you. And we will be talking about, my brain just went blank. That's why I wrote everything down. From hobby to business to CEO. See, I knew this. I said it earlier. And then on day 7, we'll be talking about the Million Maker Business Blueprint and how you can use this framework and start putting it into action. Something you're not gonna want to miss. All right. I will see you all later.